In the video, we are moving on to part 3, price, ceilings, and floors. So we're going to graph the following data and then draw a price floor at 350 and a price ceiling at 150. So we're going to go ahead and start by graphing our quantity demanded. At $4, the quantity demanded is 20. At $3.50, the quantity demanded is 40. At $3, the quantity demanded is 60. At $2.50, the quantity demanded is 80. At $2, the quantity demanded is 100. At $1.50, the quantity demanded is 120. At $1, the quantity demanded is 140. And at 50 cents, the quantity demanded is 160. Okay, so here is our demand curve. And now we're going to graph the supply curve. At $4, the quantity supplied is 180. At $3.50, the quantity supplied is 160. At $3, the quantity supplied is 140, and so forth. Here is our supply curve. Let's just check my last one here. 50 cents, 40. Okay, my graph looks pretty correct. All right, so the equilibrium price, by now, hopefully we're getting pretty good at this, is $2. And my equilibrium quantity is 100. Okay, now we got to talk about price ceilings and price floors. So first off, let's start with the price ceiling, which they said was a price ceiling at $1.50. So the price ceiling means that the government or somebody has now set a rule that you cannot. So this is a price ceiling. A rule that you cannot raise the price any higher than this. Okay, this is kind of like what rent control is. It says you can't charge more for this house than a certain amount. Okay, so what happens when we put a price ceiling according to this model? Well, we're not at equilibrium, so we're going to have a mismatch, and this is going to be a shortage. So my QD at the price ceiling is where does my demand curve intersect with this price, and that is 120. Now my QS, I need to follow this one, my supply curve, until I get to this price, 150, and so that's 80. Remember that the shortage is always QS minus QD, so it's 80 minus 120, and we get a shortage of negative 40. Okay? The price floor. Let's go ahead and do the price floor. The price floor is at 350. Now this is a price floor because the government is saying you cannot set the price any lower than this amount. This is kind of like what a minimum wage is. It says you can't pay less than a certain amount for an hour of labor. We're going to, and believe it or not, the government also does this kind of thing with crops a lot of the time. So what's going to happen here is we need to do the same formula. Our price floor is QD, or our QD at the price floor. We got to follow the demand curve till we get to 350, and that quantity is going to be 40. And then our QS is going to be where the supply curve meets 350, so that is 160. And our formula, again, for a surplus or a shortage is QS minus QD, which means that our surplus is going to be equal to 160 minus 40, which is equal to 120. We have a surplus. So at the price floor, if we set the price no lower than 350, if the government says this is as low as you can go with your price, then that means we're going to have a big surplus where they're going to make a lot of this good, but not very many people are going to want to buy it. And this is going to create some waste, right? What are they going to do with all the extra stuff they don't sell? Finally, the price ceiling creates a situation where we get a shortage. This is a situation where people really would like to buy 120 of this item, but the people making them are only willing to produce 80 of this good at this price point at 150. So we're far from equilibrium, and in neoclassical economics, or mainstream economics, I should say, we consider this to be an inefficient situation. We always want to be at equilibrium. So that's how price ceilings and price floors work according to this model. I'd like you guys to work on number 14 on your own. I believe in you. And number 15, again, is the same kind of problem. So go ahead and practice these examples. Ask me if you have any questions. You will also need to complete number 16 on your own as your last bit of practice here. And then the last thing you need to do before we finish this assignment is congratulate yourself and tell me 1, 2, 3 things that you learned about supply and demand, and maybe 3 questions that you would like to know more about supply and demand. Great job for getting this done, folks. Let me know if you need any help. This is due at the start of our next class, so good luck.